It's a bit cold.
It was a balmy -5 degrees, but it was sunny. There was
It's
no
nice,
snow.
nice and sunny, but
Nice and
cold.
sunny.
But
Yes.
cold.
Nice, nice.
So
So
it's funny. We're both wearing blues today.
yeah, yeah. I like your blue better though. That's my favorite.
You like my
My
blue?
favorite color.
Yeah, this is my favorite too. I know we both like blues.
Yeah, and we didn't. There was no email.
No, we didn't plan it, so that's amazing. It's a good afternoon.
That's right.
We're
That's
gonna have a
right.
good show.
We're on the same wavelength. We're gelling.
I know we are. Eh?
Excellent, excellent. So, just want to welcome all our guests tonight, this afternoon, wherever you are. And this is Byond Talk. And just to let you know that Byond Talk is being broadcast via Facebook Live, YouTube, Dork TV, and we have a new tonight broadcast partner, which is Roku, and we're pretty excited about all these platforms that we are broadcasting to and are reaching out to. For those of you that are joining us for the first time, Byond Talk is a social mentoring forum. It's a space designed to engage our community in thought-provoking conversations about real-life issues, triumphs, pains, grief, success. This space is designed to inspire you and to foster transformation and healing. Because we've found that life is a big classroom where teachers and learners are interchangeable.
Yes.
And we basically want to inspire you to go after your transformation and heal.
Yeah.
Because one of the greatest tragedies in life is for us to lose our authentic self and to accept the version of us that is accepted by everyone else. And we're having a conversation about healing, answering the call about healing. And it's so important, in this time that, we go after our healing and transform our lives and to connect with our authentic self, because for far too long, we have been disconnected. We in the diaspora have been disconnected from our authentic self because of what our ancestors have gone through. And it's time to connect with our nature, our authentic self. And our ultimate goal, is to inspire you, to awaken that yearning that you have to become whole and to become healed and to be authentic and to live authentically. So we're having this conversation tonight, and we encourage you to send in your comments. And this is not a sermon. We want it to be a conversation. We're going to have a guest, and we want you to participate in the whole process. Right? Isn't that right, Sandra?
That is so right. I was busy trying to invite people to watch us, but that is
Excellent.
so right. It's not a monologue; it's a dialogue. And tonight, we have a amazing lady. But before we have her come on, she's backstage. Before we have her come on, I just want to read a bit, say a bit about our show tonight and about the whole healing journey that Erin speak about. We're talking about answering the call and giving back to community and how you're helping your community, and we wrap that in the parcel of healing. And you may be saying, what does that have to do with healing? But that has everything to do with healing, because when you're called, when you're healed, and or when you start that healing journey, it's almost impossible for you not to want to have others become healed. So this is what we're talking about: how you extend that hand, that arm that you have into communities, into your home, your community at large, and into your world, so that you say, hey, it's possible. And if I need to give you a drink of water so that you will get the strength to start your journey, that is what I want to do. So this is what we're talking about. We're talking about ordinary people. I call them unsung heroes. Ordinary people, just ordinary human beings doing extraordinary work, and they're not getting awards for it. But this is why we want to have the conversation. They're not getting awards for it, but I believe those are the ones that scriptures talk about having a crown waiting for them in heaven. And Jean is one of those people, and she's going to come on and tell us about that. But let me just read this. And healing is believing we're created good to do good. That is healing. Believing that you have already started the journey, that you were created good to do good. Healing is understanding that though the darkness is inevitable, so is the rainbow. So basically, healing is hope. Healing is forgiveness. Healing is knowing that you are here to serve, to give, to share, to grow. Healing is knowing your need, that there's a need in this world for you.
Mm-hmm.
There's a need in this world for you. There's a need and you're needed, and so others in this world need you. So basically, no man is an island, no man, hygiene, no man stand alone. And so we're in this together. So we're going to have this conversation with Jean. Chief put her on, like telling me to shut up, basically. So he just put Jean on. Come on back, Jean, don't go away. Jean, how are you?
Hello, how are you?
Hey, Jean.
Great, thank you. Welcome
Thank
to the show. Welcome to Byond Talk. We're so happy to have you, and we can't wait to have the conversation. So we're not going to take up your time. We're going to ask you right now to tell our listeners who you are. Who is Jean? Who's this lady with this beautiful smile?
I'm happy to do that today. And I am a daughter of Africa. That's what I call myself. I'm from Kenya. Jean Adero is my name. And I'm happy to say Adero because that name is so important to me. It's my father's name. And it's really important to me because my story is a story about healing and a story about disinheritance. And I'm talking about gender discrimination that led me to be the founder of Read Across Africa, which is a learning sanctuary for children in rural Kenya. And started off as a library, but has turned into one of the most wonderful gifts of my life.
Wow.
Wow.
Wonderful.
Amazing. Wow. A daughter of Africa.
Yes, I am.
I'm going to adopt that. I'm a daughter of Africa. All right, cool. So, Aaron, did you want to try the question? You want me to go first?
Wow. Well, no, I want to hear more. I want to hear more from Jean regarding her story and what she went through, and what gave her the vision to start this organization, Read Across Africa.
Well, my story is a pretty common story in the Southern Sahara. When you look at many countries out south of the Sahara, you find that there is a preference for men. There's a preference to have give access to men. And it's usually related to education, property, and all other benefits that are considered in the West pretty normal as a result of the women's movement in the 60s, right? So what happened for us in 1998, my father passed away. Oh. And when my father passed away, we found out that he had another family. Oh. But what was interesting about this was that I come from a family of 5 sisters. And so growing up, I felt very valuable in my family, even to my dad. But I had no idea that he struggled with the fact that he did not have a son. Oh. So when he died, we found out this information, and it was very difficult for us because we were just finding out. I think my mother already knew, but we found out very close to his death. And in addition to that, he had a son and a daughter from another woman. And my relatives thought that his son should get majority of the property. And did not consider that my mother and my father had been married for 30 years. And under the law, she was entitled to property, even though her name was not on some of the title deeds. Right? So when that happened, of course, our family went into disarray. We were in court for about 5 years, just really struggling to get this matter ironed out. And there were sides, and the family was broken. Yeah. A family that had over the years had a pretty good relationship. Of course, with every family, there are those factions. But we thought we were okay And then when my father died, we realized that we were not okay because we were girls. So that court battle with my paternal relatives got me thinking that something was less than about me. And I could either accept it or reject it. And I chose to reject it.
Way to go.
And therefore, after 5 years in court, my mother passed away suddenly. So the family was forced to face each other and say, we have been doing this for 5 years. What are we going to continue to do? What are we going to stop doing? And how are we going to move into the future?
Right.
And we sat down and mediated and determined that all children were equal and all the property was divided into 8.
Nice.
Because there were 8 children.
Nice.
The funny part is we were not thinking about what would happen to our ancestral home, which is a home that my father was building for his retirement. Yeah. And it was not yet finished. It was something that he obviously loved. Yeah. And here we were, girls faced with, what are we going to do with the house? And so the idea came up to turn it into a library.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Very good. Very good.
That's amazing. So tell us. That's amazing. Aaron, were you saying something?
That's an incredible way of sharing, of giving, of thinking about others and how others can benefit, finding the good in the situation. That's incredible, but I feel the burden, like you're talking about, I'm going to say disenfranchisement of women.
Yes.
Of girls and because we live in this patriarchal system, what the damage that's done, to young girls growing up and their sense of purpose, their sense of self and sense of identity, how did you overcome those adopted or indoctrinated thoughts, those feelings?
So that's not an easy journey because I started the library angry. I was angry and I was driven by anger. It was, I was doing a good thing, but in terms of my own healing, I was not healing. I was out to prove something.
Right.
And you can only go for so long with anger as your fuel. And so I started noticing that much as I was trying so hard to advance the project, its movement was not as fast as I had wanted.
Right.
And I started to realize that something in me was misaligned. And I believe that is intuitive. I believe everybody experiences that.
Right.
The question is, are you willing to humble yourself enough to answer and recognize that you start from the inside out?
Powerful.
Interesting. That's what we talk about. That is so powerful.
And so true. And so true. I mean, we're energy beings, right? And the energy, we have to be intentional with where we're putting our energy. That's what you're saying. So first we have to focus it on the inside and do the healing, deal with the emotions, those pent up feelings, the anger, come to terms with those things and then clear your mind, clear your energy. And then you can focus it and be more intentional.
Right.
With it. That's incredible work. And you just did that on your own, or how did you come to that awareness?
No. I didn't do that on my own. First, I had to recognize that I was bankrupt in all areas of my life.
Wow.
But it wasn't just that I was bankrupt and I knew it. I was the kind of person, usually they say you get the tap, then you get the nod, and then you get the thump.
Yeah.
I was the person who waited for after the thump. So I didn't even respond to nature trying to tell me that something was wrong.
Yeah.
And in 2008, I lost my job. And then that was, of course, the economic crisis.
Yeah.
I lost my job and I started to lose everything step by step by step. And I remember one day sitting in my home and asking myself, are you going to be homeless? Because you can no longer pay for this house. And I had to really look at myself and say, okay, what are you going to do?
Right.
And that was the moment I started peeling the layers. And I said, because I was saving myself, I had lost everything. When I tell you I was spiritually bankrupt, my mind was bankrupt. My body was bankrupt in the sense that I was eating anything and I was whatever. It didn't even matter. I dated people I shouldn't be dating at that point. And then I had no work and I felt worthless. I felt like I didn't deserve to have any job because I was so beaten down. And don't even talk about money because I had none.
Wow.
And at that point, you've got to ask yourself, what are you going to do? Are you going to sit here and be nothing? Or are you going to ask the questions that need to be asked so that you get the answers that you need to get so that you can get up and do what it is that God intended for you to do?
Amen to that, sister.
Powerful. But she hit it right on the head, you know?
Yes.
You have to experience that state of bankruptcy and, you know, emotionally, psychologically, physically, wherever you are, you know, and just be honest, brutally honest with yourself as much as it hurts. And the days can be dark. You don't know where you're going to go from there, but step by step, you know, and just get in tune with that, with, like you said, that nature, you know, that's incredible work that you've done, Jean. And I think that's the path, and it's being authentic.
Yes.
The challenge with it is that I'm an African girl and we never put our business out there. The one thing is, with 5 sisters, I have millions of friends. Let me not call them millions. I have a lot of friends. And I told nobody.
Wow.
Not a single person in my circle knew that I was bankrupt financially, that I had to go down to the courthouse and let them know that Jean Adero no longer has money to do anything, and all her creditors want their money back today, and she does not have it, and she's here to tell them all in the court that she does not have it. And it was painful. But I did by myself. I did not tell a soul because I was afraid that I would be shamed in front of all my people. Shame is the thing that is holding most people back.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. So, Jean, wow, that's amazing. We didn't even know we go there, but that's amazing, because, and you said something that is so important. Until you ask the question,
right?
You ask the question of yourself, and you. So, tell us a little bit more about asking that question and how it brought you, that answer to that question brought you here where you are today. A woman that is giving back to her community, a woman that is making sure that all girls in Kenya, because that's your goal, maybe all girls in Africa read.
In Africa
read. That's a continent, you all. So her mission is that every single girl on the continent Africa reads.
Massive.
And so tell us how the question bring you to now. We so want to hear that.
In order for you to ask that question, you have to go back to where it started. My mother gave me $10,000 of her life savings to come to America. So my mother had sacrificed her life so that I could live.
Wow.
So that I could be free. Because think about this. A woman who is a secretary has saved $10,000 in 1991, and she gives it to her second-born daughter. Her marriage is failing. She's not sure how long she's going to have a job, because that was the time when they were restructuring the United Nations. That's where she worked. She was not sure she was going to have a job. She knew she only had $10,000 for 1 year. And yet she was willing to take that risk and bet her marriage. She basically gave it up. Her marriage had been falling apart, but it was the straw that broke the camel's back when she made that decision to send a child without enough school fees. To an African parent, it's like, how dare you take your child to America without school fees? She won't even have enough money to buy a hamburger. I remember that conversation. My father said that. And so when I looked at what my mother had done, and I think most Africans, most immigrants watching this or listening to this know this story. This is not unique.
It's not.
This is not unique. Mothers everywhere are giving up every single thing that they have. In order for me to ask that question, I had to go back to where it started. And so asking myself, what was given up for me, and what are you going to dare to do for someone else?
Oh,
what
wow.
will you dare to do? That's what she dared to do. What are you going to dare to do?
That's a hallelujah. It's a question.
That's powerful.
It's a hallelujah. You could say that forever, because we live in such selfish society. It's me, me. But you just said something that is so profound. Yeah. What are you going to do for something else?
Dare
that's
to
why
do.
We're here. That's why we were born.
Yep. And you get to a point where you can't go anywhere but up.
Right.
No.
I mean, for me, think about it. I didn't listen to any of the signs. I didn't watch any of the signs. So I was there. So the question is, what are you going to do? Are you going to go ahead and die? Or are you going to go and try and talk to the people who you need to talk to save this house? And so by the time I was going to bankruptcy, by the time I was calling the bankruptcy attorney, I remember that was the best day of my life. I think it was August 6, 2012. I walked into a bankruptcy attorney's office and I just say, hey, I need to file bankruptcy. And I need to. So by the time I had gone through that process, yes, I went through the shame, but it was even better than me sitting. It was shameful, but what was more shameful was me sitting in my home without a plan and thinking about what my mother did and not doing anything about it. So by the time I started to recover, I was still angry at everybody. I was still mad at the world. I was still annoyed at people who used to question why I'm doing it, but I did it anyway because it was the only thing that I could do. Was I healed? No. Do things before you're healed.
Right.
Because that's what if you may trigger the journey.
Right. Part of the process.
When we have gone in and you have ripped it all open and you open the prison of shame, and because shame is a prison and bondage and fear, and when you break that door down and you just do it, that's when you kind of embark on this journey of healing. It's amazing. So it's interesting when I tell this story about my relatives today. I'm not telling this story to shame them. This is not something that I wouldn't say in front of them. These are the facts. At the time, 20 years ago, they thought that a boy child needed to inherit more property than a girl. Right.
At the time, they thought that legacy comes from the male side of the family. At the time, they didn't know better. At the time, they hadn't seen me bring 22,000 books for their children. At the time, they hadn't seen me hire their relatives. There were so many things that they hadn't experienced before. So giving them that experience has enabled us to heal as a family. And now we sit at tables, we eat, we visit each other. We don't have problems. I always joke with my sisters, I still sleep with one eye open, but the truth is, most of the time, I have a really different view of them because by looking at them, I saw me. I saw when I started to really see their weaknesses, I got to see myself. I got to see that I was afraid. I got to see that sometimes I made terrible decisions. I got to see that sometimes I made biased decisions. So we are the same.
Right.
We're the same. There is no anger between me and my uncles.
Nice. Wow.
That's amazing.
That's a great victory for your family. To help them to change the paradigm and know the value that women bring, and know that to know and to remember that Africa was very much a matriarchal society, very, very much way back in history. Many gods were women, Black women, way back, and Western history wants us to forget that, but we must remember what Africa was and who we were.
Yeah,
especially our women,
and who we still are. Who we still
women.
We're still that. We're still that. But I think what's missing is us believing that. That we're still powerful. That we're still meaningful. That that we're here for a reason, and
Right.
and that's a significant reason.
Yeah.
We're women. We're women of Africa, like you say. I love that.
Yeah.
We're women of Africa, and we're not just mere existing. We're
Right.
here to thrive.
Yes.
We're
But
here to thrive. That it's in our DNA, and no
Yes.
matter how much they put us down or knock us down, I like to say, if the wealth that is in us, I think I post that, nobody can take that away. Nobody can
Right.
break us.
That's
We
right.
cannot be broken.
Yes.
We cannot be.
I love what you've done, though, Jean. I love what you've done, and I think this is how we all can influence the world.
Yes.
But it starts with ourselves, and then those closest to us, our families.
Yeah.
Re-educating them, you
Yes.
know, about the value and the most important judgments there are, and how we see ourselves.
Yeah.
And then demonstrating, proving to them that it can be done. 22,000 books and more, and all the great things. I know you haven't even begun to tell us all the things that you've done, right?
No, I really haven't. It's kind of funny. Today, I was at Books for Africa. Books for Africa is an Atlanta-based organization that collects books from Atlanta residents
Mhm.
and package them and put them in pallets ready to be sent to Africa by whichever community wants to start a library or donate to a school or a hospital or whatever.
Mhm.
And so I spent my day there with my niece,
Mhm.
packaging new books for our kids.
Mhm.
Because it has been 10 years since, actually, I think it might even be 10 years today
10 years.
the books shipped the first time.
Wow.
Since you shipped, or that organization?
Since we shipped the books to Kenya for the first time.
The first time. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent.
So tell us how that is impacted. Tell us, give us some examples of how that is actually, that giving the books and having the children read these books are actually impacting that community.
Right. So Kisumu Karateng is my ancestral home. It's an area where I can go. There's a part where I can go and say that tree is my great grandfather. In other words, my grandfather's lineage is there.
Mhm.
And so it's really important to me because a lot of those people are my relatives from in some form or fashion.
Right.
Yeah.
And so coming in, our home had been vacant for 11 years because of the court battle.
Mhm.
And so we came into a place that was in disrepair, long grass, bats in the house. And what we did is we literally restored it as best as we could. It's like very expensive to put a house together because it wasn't finished yet.
Mhm.
And so what we did is we knew one thing that was really important was to start with empowering the local community.
Mhm.
So all the people who worked on the house, all the people who built the tables, the chairs, and the bookshelves were local carpenters, local electricians, everybody was from the community.
Nice.
That's how we hired some librarians, and they came very young people. I do not do this myself. If I said that, if I made you think that, I would be lying. I have a team of young people who came in and they wanted to be librarians, and they came in to serve that community, and they're doing it to this day. Same staff. I still have the same team from 5 years ago when we opened our doors.
Very
And
good.
so what these folks do is they nurture our children every day.
Wow.
I said one thing to them when we opened our doors, August 1st, 2015. I said, here's the deal. This is your project.
Mhm.
The one thing that I ask is that when any child walks in here, make them feel welcome, make them feel loved, let them experience kindness. Those were the three things I asked of them.
Wow.
Everybody is welcome equally. And so what that does in rural Africa is it gets everybody understanding that they have a space where they can go when they need to breathe.
Right.
They come in there to read books.
Mhm.
It started off as a library. That was our intention. But 5 months after I opened the doors, I went back and I was looking at the kids and I was like, these kids can't read.
Oh.
So I called our librarians and I said, hey, we need you to teach the kids how to read. And they're like, we're not teachers. I was like, well, I could hire teachers. And they said, okay, we'll teach them how to read.
Are these English books or are they in the local language?
English books.
Okay.
Because Kenya's official language is English.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Gotta
Kenya's
change
official
that.
language is English, and Swahili is the national language. So Swahili is the language that everybody would speak in, like, if the president was addressing the whole country,
Yeah.
he would do it in Swahili.
Oh, okay.
English is the language of instruction as well.
Okay.
I know one word in Swahili.
What's that?
One word.
Can you say it on the?
Probably I could. Yeah, because I think it means beautiful or something pretty. Is it Merimeta?
Meta. Is it shiny? Like shiny?
Shiny.
Oh.
Is it at meta? Oh, meta.
Shiny. Shine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so I was close. Shiny, beautiful.
Yeah.
Meta.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Jean, you're so meta.
Well, kind of. But in context, I understand where you're going with that.
I know, this is amazing. All right, so I wanted to ask a question as it pertains to our ancestors. So, do you feel as if you're summoned to this call? You feel like because I know you started saying the ancestors. You feel like you've been pushed by our ancestors. I know you grew up in Africa. You might not have the same experiences as us in the West.
Yes.
Pertains to how we feel about the ancestors driving us, pushing us, that we need to do something, we need to give back. So tell us if you have any feeling of that.
So you see, when you grow up in a place where you're told, oh, that tree is where your ancestor was buried,
mm-hmm.
It's not like really precious. You take it for granted.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
That's something Africans growing up on the continent have as an advantage.
Right.
But ancestry is a thing that we don't think about because we are.
Right.
Yes.
It wasn't taken away.
Yeah.
We just know that. I mean, when I say that the whole area, everyone is probably my relative in some way, that tells you what ancestry means on the African continent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So for me, I believe I'm driven by the thing that God has put in every single human being. What more?
Yeah.
That feeling of I'm capable of doing more, I think everybody has it.
Yeah.
Right.
I can't, from my perspective, I can't say that it's driven by my ancestors. I don't know. But I think, I'm a Christian, so I believe God has given us all a desire that's unique to every single person. And I think I'm driven by that innate desire. Right.
Yeah. Well, I think our ancestors are always with us.
Right.
And they're guiding us.
Right.
They are with us. I know in Christendom we don't talk much about that, and because of what's happened to my ancestors, who were brought to the Caribbean, that whole history, that whole connection was pushed away. But the fact remains that the ancestors are still here with us, and if we were to take the time and reconnect with ourselves, we can definitely be intentional and just feel them with us and know that they're with us.
And that's a really good point, because this year especially, I think it became more real to me, especially as I watched George Floyd die. I remember thinking that the ancestors are no different from George Floyd will be somebody's ancestor.
Absolutely. Yes.
I remember that switch just coming for someone who has taken ancestry so much for granted because I always had it. I remember that switch just just clicking.
Yeah.
And then I remember thinking that when I heard the founders of Black Lives Matter being criticized for calling on the ancestors, I said, it's like criticizing me for saying I feel my mother's presence. In a few generations, she will be somebody's ancestor.
That's right.
Yes, I feel her presence, and you have the right to feel whatever you feel.
That's right, and it's very real.
Yes.
And I think we
very
do
real.
that in the West. I can't speak for everybody, but and that's why I asked the question. We do feel the presence of, I think it goes with thinking about them. You grow into a place where you're saying, yeah, I've done that. I have a career, I maybe have a home, I have a husband, children, they're grown, and some people are still asking, but what am I supposed to do? Who am I? People are asking the who am I question at 50 and 60 years old. They still don't know, and I think it's because they haven't really thought about where they came from. And for us in the West, who some people, I'm from Jamaica, and some people say, well, I'm Jamaican, I'm not African, and I think that's a big mistake, because if you don't know where you came from,
Mm-hmm.
it's impossible to know where you're going, much
Right.
to know who you are. So
Right.
that's why I ask. I feel my ancestors. I feel it in my bones.
Yeah.
I have a sense of where I came from, and this is why I was so driven to go to Africa, because I just wanted to go home. I just wanted to go home. I know that I'm not from the West. I am from Africa, and the ancestors, and I feel like there's a responsibility, and that's why I asked you this too, the responsibility of giving back and doing good, because they sacrifice so much for us. And I believe that they're in their graves and where they lie, where their spirit, the bodies are dead, but we're spiritual beings also.
Right.
It does.
Exactly, their spirit lives on, and I feel like there's something about understanding that kind of trauma that they've gone through, and how we're supposed to take the baton. That's how I see it. We're supposed to take the baton because we are now in better positions. We're positioned better,
Right.
and we're supposed to serve. And that we're supposed to take back to the continent. We're supposed to take our skills, our abilities, our resources, and we're supposed to serve the continent, because the continent was raped and taken advantage of, and we know this. And for us in the West, we shouldn't just be greedy and hoard what we have and just be selfish with it, but we should I believe that strongly, and every person should take something back to the continent.
Right.
That's what our foreparents would have wanted us to do. It's kind of like you say, I'm doing this because that's what my mom would have wanted me to do, or this is what my dad would have wanted me to do. Well, this is what our foreparents would have wanted us to do, to go back to Kenya and build libraries, or go back to Ghana and serve, or Nigeria, or wherever,
Exactly.
and do something there for the people there. So this is why I asked that.
And you know what, Sandra, I believe that happens after we do the work that Jean did.
Yes.
With yourself, reconnect with yourself.
Reconnect with yourself.
And once you reconnect with yourself, then you can go forward. And in your whatever way you choose, right? You can bear witness or be an example, right?
Yeah.
Of what the things that a person that's healed does, what they can produce, and what they give to their world to make their world a better place.
Right.
And I think, Jean, you did what you doing is just right up there. I love it. I love your story.
Amazing.
And you were very real. You talked about the anger, because anger is a big one. I mean, and it's a stumbling block, because you can get stuck there with that. But fortunate for you got past it and making a difference to the young girls in Kenya and all across Africa. So great work there.
Amazing.
Oh goodness,
Go ahead, Jean.
Is she frozen? Yeah, but yes, but Sandra, the person, we cannot stress more, the importance of getting connected, getting connected to yourself.
Yes.
Getting past, shame, getting past, low self-esteem, getting past, those negative self-talk, and getting past just the what I'm going to say is, based on where you live, the norm of that society. If it sees one person less than the other, learning to overcome that, and then going out and educating people,
Yes.
This is what Jean did. She educated herself,
She's done.
and then she educated her sisters,
Mm-hmm.
right, to make the difference. And now, she's been doing this for 10 years. Imagine how many young girls in Kenya, in Africa, that have a new paradigm.
Definitely, and amazing. Just by opening up their minds, reading opens your mind to a whole new world. Imagination, expression, communication. Reading is so powerful.
Yeah,
it's amazing that she's doing this kind of work.
Yeah.
Maya Angelou said, "Nobody makes it alone." To what you're saying, Maya Angelou is like one of my mentors.
Right.
She's gone, but her words are so powerful and riveting.
Right.
She said, nobody makes it alone. So you can never, if you, like you and I are here, we're doing this together.
Right.
And anything that's going to be sustainable, you need to bring people in.
Yep.
Nobody makes it alone. We cannot do it alone. And it's so amazing that Jean, you're back. Hey.
Yeah.
You're right. It's fine. We're in the age of this whole media thing. It doesn't always work for us,
Yes. But I love what your directive to your staff. Make the girls or those that attend the facilities feel love, feel special, and receive kindness. Simple things, but they go a long way in learning new habits and and changing your mind and changing how you look at yourself. When you get those things from others. That's very powerful. Love that.
And I think one of the things that was really important to me was what's happening to Africa is everything that has happened to the West, and it's just happening to humanity. Is that we have forgotten the things that matter.
Mm-hmm.
So when earlier on, Sandra said the continent was raped.
Mm-hmm.
What happens to the victim of the rape?
Right.
Yes.
A lot of times if it's not taken care of, people become the person who rapes, right? And so what has happened to the governments is that they became what the colonial master was.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, and I'm not exonerating them, because please, Africans, do not call me. I'm not
calling Africans.
I'm not saying they're doing, they're not responsible. I'm just saying there's a reason why they behave the way they behave, and they're not providing the services to the rural areas like they need to, right? And I decided that is not my problem. My problem is what happens to the future generation.
Exactly.
Because I cannot go back, and that is not my calling. God did not give me that calling to change government, but God gave me the calling for children, for their development, for their opportunities, for, and the funniest part about it, and the reason why I laugh about this is I have no children. I have never wanted any. People find it interesting that I have a library full of children.
Wow.
Right.
Right.
But those are your children. You don't have to birth them. Kind of like Oprah. She said this. You don't have to physically birth them.
That's
for them to be your children. Those children are your children.
That's
right.
So
the joke really is on me, because honestly, you should see me when I'm there. Sometimes I get completely overwhelmed and out of my element because I don't know what to do around children. But there's one thing that I do know is that I was a child and I needed some things.
Yes.
And when I couldn't get them, it hurt me. And I know other kids are experiencing the same thing. And if I can do something about it, let me go ahead and do it.
Fantastic.
Right?
Fantastic.
And so the programs, the one thing that we've noticed is the love, the kindness has turned into children who now want to read. Wow. They want to do stuff. They want more. They're excelling in school. We have already started seeing the correlation between the children who go to the library and the ones who are doing well. Who are participating in our programs are excelling at school.
Fantastic.
So we already have that metric.
Nice.
And so why not build these spaces where children can come in? And there's one thing that is so important to me. Much as I was a part of gender discrimination, I have an issue with the way the West is handling the girl child. And this is the question that I have. Once you have raised up this girl child and given her every single opportunity, who's she gonna marry?
I know, eh? I ask that all the time.
Same old, same old.
You leave out the boy.
Child.
If you leave out the boys,
That's right.
Yes, you can.
what's going to happen? That inequity continues.
Yes.
Because the stakeholders of most African communities are still men.
Mm-hmm.
We have to nurture boys and girls.
Yes.
We have to do.
We have strong communities.
Yeah.
Very
we have
good
to nurture
perspective.
them both. You're so right.
Very good perspective. Yes. A balanced approach.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole show. That's a show on its own. Trust me, it is. It is a show on its own. And even you talk about the West, we know our young boys, and that's a whole different kettle of fish that we need to have conversations about. And our young girls, they're hardly no men, and the boys are in prison, many of them. There's something they say here in Canada, from the school to prison pipeline. I don't even, it's something they say, and it makes my belly hurt. I don't like to hear it. And it's almost like we're self-prophesying as if there's such a thing. They go to school and it is happening, but we have to have a deeper conversation, and how it's all about healing our community. How do we change this? Because our daughters are going to need husbands,
right?
And the husbands are behind bars or have so many criminal records they can't even get a good job, or and the story's never ended. And I'm pretty sure over there in the US you're seeing the same thing, and you're seeing the same disparity. So it seems like and so it hurts all over again. And you speak about anger, and it gives you this sense of anger all over again every time you think about it, because it's almost like this whole thing was over with, but it's not. The whole disparity or segregation or you're better than you, and we see this. Just 2020 show us a lot, right? Not only coronavirus, but it shows us that this thing is not over. It's far from over. Yeah. But it's sad and it hurts, and it hurts us here in Canada, and I cannot imagine how much it hurts you guys there in the US, because it seems like it's highlighted in the US, right?
It does.
So you're right. I don't know how. Do you guys, Aaron or Jean, do you have an answer? How do we fix it?
So from my perspective, I didn't share this with you, but I am a life coach.
Yeah, I know that. So we know this. So I told Aaron, did I tell you? And I met Jean at Lisa Nichols.
Yeah, I think you did.
It was at San Diego, Jean?
Yes, we were in San Diego.
We met in San Diego.
Yeah, we went in San Diego.
Yeah.
Well, I saw the persona.
The coaching persona.
I saw that persona. You know, I didn't know you were a life coach, but I could see that. When you're telling your story, the posture.
I told you this, Aaron.
Yeah,
you probably did, Sandra. Like if
you're
I don't write things down these days. Yeah, but that's great. That's great. And this is what happens, right? It's a natural evolution. It's a natural process as you heal.
Yes.
Right? You are now on purpose.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's not something that you do mechanically. It's just your nature.
Yes.
It's a nature now. You just and you found a creative way to give expression to your nature. With the
she was going to answer my question, Aaron. She was asking, how do we fix it? And we cut her off.
We're having so much fun talking. This is how conversations go.
I know.
Eventually, we were going to get back to the answer.
Yes.
Of course.
How do we fix this? Maybe our listeners would love to know, because I think we all have a question.
Yeah.
Going in our heads.
So there's one thing that's going on. This is what I do. I say heal from the inside out. And the first thing you have to look at is your spiritual connection. What is your spiritual practice? When you wake up in the morning, are you even grateful? Because let me tell you something. When an alarm clock goes off in the morgue, nothing happens. Nothing happens.
I like
If your alarm clock goes off in your home, something happens.
Mm-hmm.
There must be a spiritual practice to honor the fact that I am even able to answer to my alarm clock. Instead of cursing out my alarm clock. That is number one. Develop a practice. There's a way that you will honor the breath that you were given. And then the second question you've got to ask yourself is, what's going on in your mind? The other day I posted on my Facebook page, if you think only about the thing that you want, you will get it.
Yes.
And right now you are getting the thing that you think about. So if you look at your life and you're hating it every morning, that when you wake up, you get it. It's because that's what you're thinking.
Right.
Asking you for 1 minute to take a moment and just change that thought for just one day. And reverse the thought and think only about what you want. I can guarantee you will never go back to who you are. Then ask yourself, what fuels my body?
Yes.
And if you notice one thing, this is all me. I haven't started talking about your kids. I haven't said anything about your wife. This is me. So you heal yourself first.
You gotta heal yourself first. You have to.
Absolutely.
You have to work on you first.
And then stop asking your family to be something that you are not.
Jesus. Preach it, lady.
Stop asking your family
I
to
did that before.
You will be surprised when you silence your criticism for one day, what you will see your children do. First of all, they'll be in shock.
Yes.
And then after the shock, they will start responding to your energy. And they will start being who you wish them to be and who they were designed to be.
Oh, wow.
And then the fifth and sixth thing, before you even work, you need to take care of these 4 important things. This is your spirit, mind, body, family.
Exactly.
And then you can go to work, and work is different from money. Work is different from money because you guys are working right now.
Yes, we are.
You're having a whole lot of fun. And it looks like you would do this for free.
And we're doing it for free.
This
work. And it's not about money.
This idea that your job is supposed to give you money and fulfillment and everyone's supposed to be happy, and find a place where you earn money and find a place where you work to enjoy your skills.
Yes.
Whether it is in the job, some people are lucky. You can have it all in one.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that if you're an accountant, you cannot be a DJ.
Yes.
Music.
You earn money from one. True.
It's and once you get that framework, because I spend time teaching on that. Of course, I really am a Napoleon Hill fan. So Think and Grow Rich is the book that I use to teach this framework. And I tell you, within 60 days, people who enter my class have already figured out their schedule, their routine, and their purpose. The question is, once you identify it and discover it, how are you going to illuminate it? Once I discovered it, I turned mine into a library. What are you going to turn yours into once you discover it?
Once you discover it, you turn it into a library. I like that.
If everyone went through that framework, they would figure out who they are.
Wow.
And then they would ask themselves, now that I know who I am, what do I want to do?
What do I desire to do?
Right.
I like that.
Aaron doesn't like the word want. You see how he corrects you in that?
No, I didn't correct her. That was my words.
I like how he played that off. He does it with me too. And it's all about retraining. And I like that he does that.
Well, the
mind, right? And
to the mind, want is a negative. Want is you don't have it. You don't have it, and if you keep saying you don't, you want it, because the subconscious mind cannot process a negative, right? That's why you keep getting more of the lack of that thing that you want, right? So I think once you understand that, then you can be more intentional with your conversations.
And Napoleon Hill talks about the desire too, right? That's the whole chapter, right? I love Napoleon Hill too. I love the Think and Grow Rich because when people think about Think and Grow Rich, they think you're talking about money, and that's why it's so important to.
People are missing out on riches.
Money is like the icing on the cake. It's at the end. Like money will happen because you're so rich. Money happens after you become rich.
And if you notice, for me, in the framework, money is last.
Money's last, exactly. It's after you become rich, after you're wealthy.
Money is last.
Yeah.
A millionaire told me once, money is a result.
It's a result of,
Right. It's a result.
Of a rich. So as you
focus on the activity. Focus on the activity, the money will come.
Yeah.
We talk so much, we're almost out of time.
How do people get in touch with you, Jean? I love what you do. I love your framework. You're awesome. You're amazing.
Thank you.
Wow.
I received that. I live and breathe on Facebook.
We gotta have you back. We gotta have you back. We gotta have you back. Definitely have you back. This was too short. And Chief wouldn't give us any extra time. He's back there sending me messages, eh?
Yes.
He does every week, eh?
Yes.
Purpose driven. Hi, Arlette. Purpose driven. God brings you to it. God will bring you to it.
Yes.
Jean, it was so amazing. But I want to ask you one thing. Jean, what is your favorite word? What is your favorite word?
What is my favorite word? Possibility.
Possibility. Oh, well, I like that. But I was going to ask you, how does this word help your mission? But you just answered it.
Yeah. I make up programs all the time.
Oh, nice.
So my staff hate it when I say, what if? Oh, not a sentence with what if. They're just like, oh my God, what are we doing?
What if?
For me, I live in possibility. Whether we have the money or not, we have vision and we're going for it, and money shows up always.
Nice.
It's a good place to live. I actually wanted, and you said money shows up always, because I wanted to ask you, how do you fund the project in Kenya? How do you fund this library and all the other kids that you're putting books in their hands? How is that funded?
I have small donors. So on www.readacrossafrica.org, you can go on and click the donate button and sponsor a student if you want. Donate, and we basically allocated 100% of donated money goes directly to programs. Nice. We do not draw a salary from it.
Nice.
So that is every single one of our dollars goes to programs. So that's one of the things that I really pride myself in. So if you want to be a donor, www.readacrossafrica.org or on Facebook at Read Across Africa.
Awesome. Good. You can put that in the chat under this video so that people who are watching it and who will watch it, a lot of our viewers, they watch after the show.
Yeah.
Because they may be busy at work right now or doing something else. Right. So put it there so people would know how they can connect with you. You're doing amazing work, and God just bless you, richly bless you,
right?
And multiply for you and provide you with more donors, because this is every single daughter and sons of Africa in the diaspora needs to hear you and needs to help to do this, and not only build a library in Kenya, rural areas in Kenya, but go to the entire continent and let's build libraries. He said I have 1 minute, so I'm just gonna have Aaron give last word, and then we're gonna be off. And Jean, wait for us backstage. We talk.
Yeah, just want to say thank you, Jean, for sharing your wonderful story. Continue to share your story for gender equality and how individual women and men can overcome that framework and how they can make a difference, in their families and in their communities. And we can change the world by sharing that message with the young generations, because they're the future, and we got to plant those seeds in their minds. And I commend you for this wonderful work. I'm inspired by what you do, and I'm glad to have met you. And hopefully we can continue. Conversations and maybe collaborations down the road.
Thank you.
Definitely. Yeah. Thank all our viewers for watching. We see you. I can call your name tonight. We see you, Arlette, Vernice Simpson. We have some other people, Emmanuel. Oh my goodness. I don't want to not say everybody's name, but thank you guys
Thank
for
you
watching.
all.
We love you. We love you. We love you. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Byond exists to define purpose through holistic mentoring. At Byond, we will assist you to achieve success, enjoy inner peace, and live your best life. Basically, we're here to inspire you to heal and transform. Byond umbrella consists of Byond Talk, Byond Virtual Learning Space, Byond Coaching and Mentoring Services, and Byond Online Shop. For more information, visit us at www.sandraturgot.com or contact us at byondonline@gmail.com.
Dak TV.
We could have a show after the show.
Huh? We have a show after the show.
The show after the show.
You're like Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah. He's not taking us off, but so we could have a show after the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, why not? So how was that? That was good?
I love it. Yeah. These are conversations I love to have. I don't think we have enough of them because they're real.
Yes.
Real
Definitely.
we don't have enough of them. We need to have more of them. You're absolutely right about that. And you were so open, honest, authentic, and it shows. It shows, and that's what happened when you start doing the healing work.
Yeah.
You become less bothered about, what somebody might think or say if I say that. So it's almost like you kind of fearless, and because you own your story, and so you can share it. Now your story is yours. You own it.
So it's kind of funny because I went from anger to ego.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only steps that I have identified. There might have been more,